Hi, YouTubers, and hi, Senya Monoz. That's how you pronounce it, right? Senya. Hi. So this video is based on your question, Senya. You asked me, in my opinion, or just you asked me, like, if I could go back in time to 80s or 90s, any year in 1980s or 90s decade, which year would it be and why? So, okay, I'm gonna answer this question here. So I came to think about it for like maybe 15 minutes. I thought about it really good. So I figured that if I'm talking about the 80s decade, if I'm going to talk about what year in the 80s that I would like to come back to and why, I kind of figured out that I think 1986, when I was 16 years old, would be like a pretty nice year that I would like to go back to. And why? Because I was like, since I was 16, it was about the age that I was going to be able to go to work. So I kind of figured, if I could go back, if I would be able to go back, I would go look for a job. I would make myself, if I could go talk to myself, to my 16-year-old self, I would tell myself to go look for a job, whatever it takes, or go find somebody who can help me get a job somehow. Even Hector, even my brother, to have Hector help me get a job, And, at the time in 1986, around that time, that's when Hector was working for Duff's. It was like a cafeteria, and it was this cafeteria called Duff's. I guess it was called Duff's. And Hector, at one point, had asked me, if I wanted to get a job there. If he wanted me to try to get me a job there. If I could go back to that time, I would tell myself to do what it takes to get Hector to help me find me a job right there. So that way, and get out of my shyness. I would tell my 16-year-old self to stop being shy and just do anything I can to get a job, so that way I could save the money. Tell my 16-year-old self to get a job, so that way I could go ahead and start saving up for that camcorder that I want. I tell you, and I would tell my 16-year-old self, do everything I can to buy that camcorder like right away, and don't buy anything else. It would be with any opportunity I can get from Hector, like that Hector's help to get that job right away and get out of my shyness, and I would work, and then that way I could save up for the camcorder more in advance, and get one more in advance. But it's like 1986 basically, because I was because it was an opportunity. It would be a nice opportunity for me to start working, so I can start saving up for the camcorder. I guess that's the only thing I can think of. But 1986 was kind of a fun year, because it's when I started getting out of my adolescence, or sort of, I was approaching like my 18th year. I was 16 in 1986, but 1986 was a kind of a fun year, because at that time I was more like, how we call it, in 1986, that's where I was more like kind of like on my own, sort of, I was able to do whatever I wanted, kind of, as a 16-year-old. So that's why, 1986 would be kind of a fun year to go back to if I had the choice, Now, if we're talking about the 90s decade, if I could choose any year in the 90s decade that I would go back to and why, well, I would say probably 1991, about the time that when I got when we moved to the Fontana house. I would say 1991 would be a nice year for me to go back. And because the reason why I would like to go back to 1991 is because to tell my little 21-year-old self, or I was 20 at the time, to be more open. I would tell myself it would be a nice opportunity to tell myself to be more open and stop being shy. And what I would do if I was able to go back to 1991, what I would do, what I would change in 1991 is I would go ahead and make myself go outside more. I would make myself go outside and walk around or something, walk the neighborhood, It's a nice neighborhood, that Fontana Walnut Village area. It was a nice neighborhood, really nice, I would tell myself, if I was back in 1991, I would tell myself to just get out of the house and walk around and walk the neighborhood, or like dress up nice or something and walk the neighborhood, or even just ride the bike or something, And then, so that way I would make myself more open. It would give me an opportunity to make myself more open and meet some people, That's what I would do, and then it would make my life more fun to live, That's the way I would feel. That's how I feel, So 1991, is like the year that I feel like I would like to go back to if I had the choice of any year in the 90s. 1991, because right there was kind of like the start of my social, interactive life, because we moved to Fontana and I was already in my 20s going on to 21, I would just go back to 1991 and just make myself walk the neighborhood, just breathe the fresh air rather than complaining about being lonely in the house, because I was too shy back then. I just had to walk out more. Maybe dress up nice or something, dress up nice. And I would tell my 20-year-old self, don't be worrying about what my mom will think of me, or don't worry about what anybody will think of me, and just walk outside and just be friendly, say hi, dress up nice, maybe I could find a girlie, and I would do that. The thing I would change in myself is just be more open, don't be shy. That's the thing that I would advise you as well, being shy, that needs to snap out, You need to snap out of shyness, You got to go out, and just smile, or just go out and walk around or something, That's what I would tell myself, just be happy, You don't have to even say hi, just walk around being happy, just be happy, So that's what I would say. 1991, is a year that I would go back, and that's why I would go back. For the 80s, it's 1986, because that's when I started that's when I was kind of going on, getting out of my adolescence, or sort of getting out of it. But I was 16, I was still there in the adolescence years, but anyway, so 16 is where I was started to be on my own, kind of, in 1986. So that's the year that I would like to go back, because that's where I could give an opportunity to to go ahead and get a job, while I'm still in school, and then maybe, right there, I would just do what it takes to, just to be happy with life financially, I would say. Regardless of whether I get the advantage of being someone who gets really good paying jobs easy or not, at least I could give myself an opportunity in 1986 to live a steady life, a steady life, and so to speak. That's how I could explain it. Well, I hope you liked this video. So this was for Senya Monoz, or okay, alrighty, yeah. That's not. I'm not really cut. Today is March the 31st. I got money today. I got paid. $25, and then I had to pay them back. This one of the tapes, one of the older tapes. See, this is about a month later since the day it moved. I know you guys are like, that's the microphone. Oh yeah. Yeah. Microphone. Looks like this house. I'm a little bit down today. Just a little bit because I lost a court case today about that ticket that I got. The 43 on a 25 at Tuesday Street in West Covina. 35 he put. And I lost. Because I pled not guilty because I tried to get that ticket off my record and I lost. So now that one's gonna go in my record for 3 years now. Neighbors Mazda, because they're selling it for $1,000 or $1,000. I would tend to buy that car because I have to have a car, you know. You got it. I have to have a car because I can't be without a car. I can't be with just a scooter alone. I have to have a car also. You know, like some people cannot have motorcycles without a car also. I'm still waiting for my car to sell.
still waiting to see if it sells. I only had it for sale for a couple of days, so. And I reduced the price on the car, $18.50. Hopefully it'll sell. Hopefully I'll be able to get something out of it. You know. Wait till I find out what I get for that car.